big offensive outing today, but also a big outing for Sebastian on the mound. Let's start with him and the performance he had today.
Yeah, he obviously didn't let the elements affect him. I mean, it was challenging. It was raining the minute you came out of the locker room and the minute you started throwing and stretching. I mean, he had to warm up in the rain. He had to pitch in the rain, and there were some heavy moments. So I was just glad that he kind of set the tone and made everybody else say, hey, man, I'm going to compete in these conditions. And, that's 3 quality starts in a row. We just maybe didn't do enough the first couple times for him. So it's a great way to set the tone for the weekend.
And what does that say about him, how we're in the middle innings, the rain was really starting to come down, it was starting to affect his command and runners were getting on base, but he was still able to rebound and kind of minimize the damage there?
You have to. I mean, you can't be a successful starting pitcher if you can't handle some tough situations, and that was probably most frustrating that inning. I forget how the guy got on. Maybe he walked the guy. I think they stole they were just playing their game, and so he had a runner on third, less than 2 outs, and he got back-to-back outs, and you saw the competitiveness in him, and love to see that fight. You love to have a guy not only talented, but you got to have toughness and other competitive qualities if you're gonna set the tone, in a weekend series.
It's got to feel really good to have, kind of more of a dominant ace this year, something that you maybe didn't quite have last year, but somebody that can come out, a power pitcher that you can throw out on a Friday night and go toe-to-toe with really anybody.
Yeah, it's hard to be really special in college baseball, or probably special in the big leagues, right? If you don't have special arms, and it's exciting because we feel like we got a special group. He's obviously getting the pitch, to start the weekend off, but you saw Liggett on Tuesday, and obviously Forbes and Webster and those young guys, and I mean just a nice mix of young and old, talented arms, and we're only going to be as good as the pitching staff. So it's nice that, Seabass is kind of setting the tone.
Cade came in behind him, got 5 strikeouts of his own.
Yeah, most impressed I've been as the scores have been a little lopsided. I've been doing this a long time, and we've not always had pitchers that can come out and pitch in those type of situations. Like, you got to pitch no matter what the score is, and I mean we've done that multiple times now. So every out is important. So Cade has been good twice now, and it was good to get Lessman back out there. Man, Lessman was really good for us in the fall, really good in spring training, and obviously we're running him out in early season games late. So to get him back going again only adds to our pitching staff.
We've talked earlier about how Lucas Moore, due to his hot start, was starting to shape up to be maybe a freshman All-American candidate, but Alex Alcea, he's starting to come around as well too.
Yeah, Alex, probably does it a little quieter, but if you pay attention, and you just evaluate the game and the at-bats, he did that all fall and spring. I mean, Coach Williams, we take his input a lot because he's having to go against these hitters, and that was a name he kept bringing up in the meetings. Like, man, he's hard to pitch to. He moves the baseball. He's just a really good college baseball player. Another one of those, Wisconsin kids that have been really good to us.
Brandon Anderson just seems to be an RBI machine so far this year. I mean, he's swinging the ball quite well, and obviously that bigger size is benefiting him.
Yeah, just he's stronger, and, that's why Humphrey and Beard and Benson, all those guys should be better. Just the confidence they should have, the experience they have, they work extremely hard. So, yeah, just some of the young guys at the top and Brandon in the middle has really stretched our lineup out, and as I've said, we got guys hitting 6, 7, 8 that have hit 3, 4, 5, and, you make a lineup out, that's when you're really good, and that bottom half is like, wow, those guys could hit in the top, and they still can. We've addressed that. The only time you're in that spot is for the first inning. Once the game gets in a flow, then you're the leadoff, then you're the 2-hitter, then you're the 3 or 4, and you're seeing that in the last week. We stretched our lineup out by putting some of those young guys up top, and it's nice if you can bump Benson back to 2 or 3. It allows us to stretch the lineup out.
Logan Beard's kind of had some rough stretches to start the season, but how big do you think it is for him to maybe get that home run late and then have that serve as maybe a catalyst for him to get things going?
Logan's one of those, Logan and Eddie King and some of the guys that, they might not be right in the starting lineup every day. I don't know if we're special without those guys. I mean, we have to have 12, 13 deep. Logan is the ultimate professional. He gets after it. He works hard. There's a reason he's a 2-time team captain. He's going to have success this year. I mean, we see it in the work ethic, and we see it in the approach, and we're going to have to utilize his versatility, with second and third, and of course, with Hoy still on the DL, having Beard's versatility is huge, and that, I hope that home run gets his confidence going. But he knows what we want him to do. And he's not supposed to do that in BP, man. He's got to stick to the approach that Coach Snide and Braid been trying to get him to do, and he can do it. So it's going to be a huge bonus for us.
As you've been able to, add a little more of the power bats today, a little more home runs, is that something you guys talk about at all, about trying to, add a little more of that and something where you need to drive the ball out of the ballpark, or that's not necessarily the approach you're looking for?
No, if we talk about doubles, you really want to lead the country in doubles. We have a true park. It plays big some days, it plays small some days, but it's not a one-dimensional park like you might see maybe around the country. So to be good or great, you got to stay on the ball, use gap to gap. You got to be a high double team, and maybe triples, because we seem to have hit a high number of triples. Those are just doubles that turn into an extra base. So, but who knows how many home runs we'll hit. I know from Coach Snide and Vrabel's standpoint, man, let's just keep banging the ball in the gaps. And Humphrey puts a good swing on that ball. Some days that might be a double, some days that might be caught. Today is a home run.
Just real quick, do you have an update on Hoy?
He's moving in the right direction. We just, because he's had this is a recurring injury he had last year, and I think you were better prepared to strengthen both legs, and again, it's allowed us to play a young guy like Alex. So I always feel like in these young curveballs and setbacks that you deal with, it could help your overall strength and depth of the team.